Thanks, Gregor. Morning, Neil. Just more of a philosophical question. Obviously, your team has had success with using three forwards in overtime. What would that be like to defend against if another team does it against you?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the chemistry that the three forwards will have, especially if you put a single line out there like we've been doing. So it's that instant chemistry that they have that they built in the 5-on-5 game, and that translates into a 3-on-3 game.
We'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Thanks, Gregor. Good morning, Neil. There's a survey out that says 3 in 5 Canadians hope this Canadian division is just a one-year thing. 2 in 5 want to keep it going. What are the players' thoughts on it?
Well, it's been really exciting. I know that. It's been fun kind of being the highlight in Canada every night. So I've enjoyed it. I think from a travel perspective, maybe not. We're traveling to the West Coast and then out to Montreal and Toronto, of course. But so I see both sides of it. I think it's been pretty fun.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Neil, you never want to take away from the positivity of a win, but how much talk has there been amongst the guys? Obviously, not yesterday was a day off, but just this morning, rather, coming to the rink about not relying too heavily on games like Saturday happening from here to the end of the season now.
Yeah, that's of course something we brought up this morning. That kind of game isn't sustainable throughout the year. Obviously, you'd like to win those kind of games and find ways to win in different ways. But at the same time, we have to find a way to play better and make sure we play good on home ice.
We'll go next to Jeff Hamilton from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Neil, you're 20 games into a 56-game season. You played every team now. I know, well, I guess not at least twice, Toronto only once. But are you starting to get an idea of what this division is all about or the identity of this division?
Yeah, a little bit. I think the biggest thing, referring to earlier, is kind of the passion of an all-Canadian division. Not only do we feel it as players, but we know that the fans are feeling it, and there's a lot of pride within each team. So I think that ramps up the intensity every night.
We'll go back to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Neil, realize it's a one day at a time mentality, but this is your busiest stretch of the year. Can you talk a little bit about the approach for your group as you get ready for 17 and 31 here and a pretty taxing schedule?
Yeah, I think the key is going to be being able to reset mentally and turn it on mentally. So, when we have a game, like, you're going to have to turn that mental focus on and get that laser focus on that you have in the game. But then on our days off, the few that we have, we're going to have to find a way to get away from the game and find a way to relax. At least myself personally, that's what I'll be doing. So it's going to be kind of a switch that we'll have to find, and it's going to be a grind, but I think we'll get through it.
We'll go next to Sarah Orlesky from TSN. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hey, Neil, just following up on that. Do you remember the last time you had a schedule that's going to be as condensed, as intense as this March one is in terms of games in a month?
In terms of games in a month, no, I don't think so. The only time I can kind of recall being in somewhat of a grind like this is, I think, my first year pro. Coming from college, I think I played 40 games in college, and then my first year pro, if you include preseason and world championships, I think I played something along the lines of 95 games. So going from 40 to 95 was quite the mental and physical challenge. And I'm assuming that this is kind of what the month of March is going to bring us, is that same mental and physical challenge.
And final question to Kelly Moore from CJOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, Neil, just looking at the opponent tonight and kind of a little bit of, what we had discussed with maybe not being at your best against Montreal. Vancouver, despite losing the back-to-back games to you out on the West Coast, this is a team that I'm guessing you guys are not going to overlook with how they played not only here, but also how they played in those two games at Vancouver.
Certainly. I mean, you look at the roster that they have a ton of good players. And like they're a really good team despite their record, I think. So we certainly can't take them lightly. And we have to remember too that the last time that they were in this building, they beat us. So we're going to have to bring that intensity tonight.